preparation led to a new sensation, new creation. That's what you're facing. Now watch my elevation.
All right. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is our reaction to Mairis Briedis versus Jai Opetaia. I believe that's how you pronounce it again.
I think you did it right because I would have butchered that name.
Yo, bro, listen. I don't have the time to review. Hey, they pay us to do this full time. I promise to get everybody's name right. I'm gonna turn it over to Trill Dollar Bill.
Like a lot of sensible people, Well, the fight came on at 6 a.m. And for one, I would like to apologize to the Boxing Bros community. I didn't watch the fight. I was knocked out. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I was asleep. So I like to apologize because I didn't see the fight, but I know my bros did. So I'm gonna let them give their input and reaction on the fight, and I'm gonna fall back.
Thanks for that, Trill.
You didn't have to turn off the screen, though.
We're gonna take a brief interlude. G, what's your reaction to the fight?
Well, first, before I talk about the fight, I'd like to say salute to Boxing Bros Australia. You know what I'm saying? Because that night, the whole card was entertaining. Now, I actually didn't even know it was going on at the moment. I just happened to be up, and I was on Hulu, and I was like, "What is boxing on?" And I was like, "Oh, because my Hulu connects also to my ESPN Plus." So I clicked on it. I'm just watching the card. I was like, "Oh snap, yo!" I'm like, "All right." I didn't know there was a whole bunch of fights going on in Australia, but I was checking it out, And I want to give a shout out. Now, y'all know how I be saying I love guillotine style. I forgot the dude's name, but I remember the dude that
I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah,
my man, Mama's boy, Hartas, Hrtas. Yo, the way he got knocked out, you would have thought somebody died, though. For real, it was like boop, dude dropped, laid there silent, no movement, no nothing. Yeah. Finally, when he woke up, they were like, "Oh, it's a miracle he could walk out the ring." I was like, "Damn, that was wow," But the whole night, all the fights was pretty entertaining. So I just wanted to shout that out and salute to I forgot sister's name, but who did the national anthem for the Samoan national anthem and the Australian national anthem. Shorty was on point. So because usually I hate listening to people do that national anthems. No disrespect to no nations. It'd be boring, but she actually has some flavor. So I just wanted to show her some love. So now this fight. Now, to me, I thought every round was action-packed. Briedis, at first, I thought was losing the early rounds. Now I wasn't scoring it round for round because again, I just stumbled upon, these fights. So I was just watching it for pure entertainment value just because I knew Briedis fought Usyk before. So I was like, all right, let me check homie out. Man, at first he was losing the beginning rounds. Then I remember he got his nose busted with an uppercut. And I was like, oh man, he was leaking a lot, But I think it was the second round he did land. I think it was I think it was a hook to Jai's jaw, right? Because I think Jai's team said that's when he actually broke his jaw, but you didn't see the impact of it until the later rounds. Now, as the round started going later on, Briedis started coming back. Briedis started, putting in a lot of work. Now, there was a lot of clinching in that fight, which I don't like, you know what I mean? But, they did listen to the ref, so that was cool. The ref was doing a lot of work of just breaking the fight so they could fight all over again. But Briedis started returning, and then I think Briedis landed I seen 5 lethal shots to my man Jai's jaw, to the point where he broke it again later on in the fight in the other side of the jaw. And then I remember the last round, Jai's mouth was clearly broken. He couldn't even close his mouth anymore. So I was like, man, if he gets hit in the mouth, his mouthpiece is gonna fly off or something. It looked really, really bad. But salute to my man Jai. He pulled off the victory. It was a real close fight. And then this is where I'm I don't understand boxing. At the end of the fight, they just made the announcement that my man Jahi won. Clear as day, my man's mouth is bloody, swollen, and they gonna come with a mic in his hand talking about let's do a little quick interview. I'm like, the man can't even talk. All I heard, he's saying something to Simone, like, "Ah!" And the dude was like, I don't know what he said, but okay, moving on to his trainer. You know what I mean? I'm just like, yo, why would y'all even talk to this man? This dude is literally like keeping his, like, it was probably adrenaline that was keeping his jaw still intact, you know? So it was crazy, man. And they, you know, they showed him in the locker room at the end. You see him crying. And in my mind, I was like, that could be tears of joy, but it could also be tears of pain. Like, my man took so many punches to the chin. So I was like, man, salute to this dude. He's a true warrior. I think they should run it back. I think it deserves a rematch. It was a quality fight. It was dangerous for both gentlemen. These guys took severe punishment during that fight, and they still stood there till all 12 rounds. So salute to both gentlemen.
Ned TV, you got anything to say?
I actually didn't watch the fight. It was I didn't know what was happening. It was 6 a.m. in the morning, but maybe I'll catch it next time.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Dramatic effect.
It's unfortunate that this fight came on at 6 a.m. in America, because for my taste and what I like to see in boxing, it was arguably one of the best fights of the year. It had everything that you like to see. It had skill. It had, beautiful setups, nice counters, two men showing tremendous will and guts. It was a phenomenal fight. and I didn't know who Opetaia was when I watched the fight. Now, obviously, I knew who Briedis was because I knew about him, his fights with Usyk, and knew him from like the World Series of boxing. But that guy, Opetaia, really shocked me and surprised me because he had good punch placement. He had magnificent counters. Like, Briedis would come in and try to do something. He would get out the way. He would counter. But then, like, he would just catch Briedis clean sometimes. Like, and this was in the beginning. However, Briedis was doing a lot of great work. And unfortunately, I was too lazy to turn off the commentary. But I felt like in America, the commentary that we watched was so biased, and it was obvious that they were rooting for Opetaia. And like, I'm like, I get it. You're rooting for the dude. At one point, they even yelled like, yes, when he landed a punch. And I'm like, yo, my man's. No, yo, I'm not joking, bro. I'm saying like, my man's. Like, you're supposed to be somewhat neutral. And so I'll be honest with you, at the end of the first 4 rounds, I actually had it 2-2. But everyone was acting like it was a straight up wash. Now that's for 2 reasons. Like I always say, when you're the heavy favorite, and the other person is competitive with you and they're competing, people start to see that as a win for that person. But they were overlooking the work that Briedis was doing. Now look at what happens at the end of the fight. Briedis said, at the end of the fight, Opetaia says, my jaw was broken since the second round. A round that everyone probably gave to Opetaia except me.
Mm-hmm.
I gave that round to Briedis. I gave Opetaia the first round, and I gave Briedis the second round because I saw that uppercut in the second round. I said, "Damn!" Right? But that's my point. It was just a lot. Briedis was going against a lot. He was in Australia, and the crowd, everything. But I'm not taking away from Opetaia because, like I said, he showed tremendous skills, and I didn't know who he was, so I didn't even think the fight would be competitive. So we get into the fight, and I do believe that, like, actually, where's my scorecard at real quick? Yeah, so I thought that Briedis won the second and third, and I gave Opetaia the 4th, 5th, and the 6th round. But then I thought, like, the 7th and 8th round that Briedis came on, and I thought there was some swings in between 10 and 11. But the definitive round to me that determines how you score the fight would be the 12th. I felt like the 12 was so one-sided, so dominant. It was so evident that Briedis was hurting Opetaia and that his jaw was broken and he was just trying to hear the final bell, that you could score that a 10-8 round. Like that's the way I saw it. That round was so dominant in favor of Briedis, but that's not what I did. So in the end, I feel like that fight could have really gone either way. Like either way. The fact that it was unanimous, I'm cool with it. There was no robbery.
No, it wasn't unanimous. I think it was a split decision, right?
It was unanimous, I believe.
Oh, it was? Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was unanimous. 2 of the judges were from America and the other judge was from somewhere else. I can't remember. So there were no Australian judges. So you can't, be like, oh, Australia. But if you listen to the commentary, you know why there were no Australian judges. It was terrible. It was like a cheerleading section for Opetaia. It was gross to me. I'm like, Briedis just landed this shot. Y'all not going to talk about it. It took Briedis like closing his jaw up for them to start saying, and Briedis is doing some pretty good work in there too. Like, it was crazy. But I'll close by saying this. In a sport where, like, you see the woman who just quit because things weren't going her way in the fight with Jessica McCaskill, and you see certain guys who quit on the stool or certain guys who fake and stay down, you saw a dude who loved boxing so much, Joseph Opetaia, that he says his jaw was broken in the second round, and maybe it was, but I saw him talking and opening his mouth. But in the 11th and in the 12th, it was evident to everyone, including Briedis, that his jaw was broke, and Briedis was going for it. And that man stood up and walked out for the 12th round and said, I'm going to lose my job, but I'm going to try to win. Like, that's tremendous courage. That's a champion. That's why no one can argue with this man being champion, because it could have gone either way, but he knew that and he went out there. But before we talk about that 11th round, let's talk about Briedis in the 4th round, who got caught with a massive uppercut that his nose started gushing blood. He was swallowing blood. What's his name? Opetaia was all over him. I thought, like, yo, is this dude about to stop Briedis for Briedis to even come back and put that onslaught on him? That's how great that fight was. Sadly, it was aired at 6 a.m. in America, so we have a fight that great with 2 great warriors that the world should have seen, that most people in America don't know it even happened, unfortunately, but salute to both gentlemen. It could have gone either way, in my opinion. They both were tremendous warriors. It was an excellent fight. Salute to both men.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And also, please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. You know who we are. We're the Boxing Bros. You see that right there. You see that right there.
All right, next up is Joshua.